In the U.S., abortion became legal on January 22, 1973, by the United States Supreme Court in a 7-2 decision handed down to rulings legalizing abortion in America. Since 1973, since abortion was legalized, there have been approximately 50 million abortions carried out in the United States alone. The largest percentage of abortions occur at a gestational age of 9 weeks, which is around 62%. But sadly, almost 5.5% of abortions still occur midway through a full-term pregnancy and beyond. Even at the earliest during this trimester, the fetus is now a baby, which is around 16 weeks and up, which is 4 months and up. And by this point, the baby has bones developing in its ear and is beginning to hear. The backbone is strong enough to enable the baby to try and straighten his head or neck and even move. The face has both little eyebrows and eyelashes, and it's small because it still hasn't developed any baby fat, but it's still a baby. Considering your baby can now hear, it's horrific imagining the noises which are made from babies who make it this far, considering the ways in which abortions are done. The only ways they can be aborted after the 16 weeks and beyond, one of the ways is called dilation and evacuation, which is done between 12 and 24 weeks. And they dilate your cervix and pull the baby out with forceps, and it crushes the skull and dismembers the fetus and aspirates the remaining parts with suction, which is a terrible way. And if the baby has formed ears and is now hearing, then that's terrible. If you go to 24 to 36 weeks, they'll dilate your cervix, and then they use the forceps to grab the baby's legs, and they'll deliver it breech from the bottom, and the head remains inside the birth canal. And using blunt tipped surgical scissors, the base of the skull is pierced and a suction catheter is inserted to extract the brain, and this causes the skull to collapse, and the dead baby is then fully delivered, which is also terrible. Sometimes while the child is partially delivered and still alive, the organs are removed and sold for fetal tissue experimentation, which is illegal, but still something that goes on. And according to some of the information online, there's about 682 estimated abortion clinics in the United States, and that's balanced out significantly by about 4,000 pregnancy resource centers where people can go before they have an abortion to prevent pregnancy that's unwanted, instead of waiting till the child you're too far and then you have to have an abortion. And abortions carry a lot of risks. I know it seems like the younger generation is who tend to get more abortions. A lot of them go over states because or across state lines and into places where you don't need parental consent, and they don't know the risks that are involved. But lastly, the risks that are involved in abortion can be infection, perforation of the uterus, hemorrhaging, cervical incontinence, cancer, and even can result in death. And I just think if we promoted more birth control and use more of the pregnancy help centers, then we wouldn't be concerned about waiting until past the second trimester to try and abort a fetus, which is in turn a baby, and it's a terrible way for an infant to die. So I guess kind of my speech is sort of pro-life, but going off a little bit is, I don't believe that if you're raped you should have to keep a baby, but I do think that if you wait past a certain trimester, it is unethical and shouldn't be allowed. So that's the end.